everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Toast Time here on the Vendetta Sports Media Network. I am joined, as always, by my co-host Jackson Law and our wonderful producer Courtney. First, I'll start off with Jackson. Jackson, how are you doing today?
Okay. Yeah, doing good. Tired. Day job sucks. But I did take a little bit of a break today. I am halfway vaccinated, baby. Got the first shot, and then in a couple more weeks, I'll go get the second shot. So then I'll be fully vaccinated.
Attaboy.
I can start traveling again. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you can go to ball games and things of that nature that we haven't been able to do in quite some time.
I miss it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't wait. Yankee Stadium, I got like the alert that you have to either test negative there or go with your like vaccine card to get into the building. So
yeah, I saw today New York was testing out some apps for your phone. Yeah, they were like, it was like at a Knicks, or not a Knicks game, but a Nets game and like a New York Rangers game. You had an app on your phone and you showed it, and they said, and it had all your health info on it, and they scanned it, and then you could go inside.
Yeah, I think I heard. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard it was doing well. So we'll see what happens with that. If that's something I'll have to download if I want to go to games, and best believe I'm going to be going to games. Courtney, how are you doing? I'm sure your internet's better.
I'm doing good. I wish I had a spring break. That's all I can say. Like,
yeah, I know.
I literally do not have a spring break for some reason, so I'm burnt out. But I'm good though.
That just makes no sense. Okay, so I see they're running. I see they're running. They're running some type of backwater operation over there. Just work. Okay.
Pretty much.
Damn. Sorry to hear that, but hey, summer's right around the corner, so we'll be there soon. Now, we'll get right into it. First up, my buttery pick this week is going to be the UCLA Bruins. Okay, they went from the first four, now they're in the final four. This was a team that I pretty sure I either bet against or picked against in my bracket every step of the way, and they won every single time. So what am I going to do this week? I'm probably going to bet against them again because they're playing Gonzaga. But let me not even get into that right now. They just been playing such great basketball. To come from being the 11th seed, having to play that playing game, coming all the way to the Final Four, is something we don't really see that often. I'm not even exactly sure when the last time we've seen it. I know the last 11 seed that's made it to the Final Four was Loyola Chicago of like 2 or 3 years ago. I know that was the last 11 seed, but I don't think they had to play in the first playing game. So this is one of the first times I've seen a play-in team make it all the way to the Final Four. And you know what? Credit to them. They've been playing great basketball. They have, beaten pretty much everybody they needed to beat. It's not even, can't even say nothing. There was not like it was a bad call or anything in there. They just flat out beat everybody that it was in their way. And, credit to them. Pac-12 college basketball, I think, just earned itself a boatload of respect this tournament because nobody, and I mean like absolutely nobody, was counting any Pac-12 teams in. They were all like, everybody was saying the Pac-12 was bad and that they'd be lucky if they even had one team in the Sweet 16. Well, they ended up having like I don't even know. I think it was like 3 or 4 teams in the Elite Eight on its own.
Yeah, they
had something crazy. So kudos to UCLA and Pac-12 basketball as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that I honestly was betting against them from the beginning because I thought Tom Izzo and Michigan State were going to win that playing game and then make a nice run in the tournament, not UCLA. But Yeah, I mean, loads of respect to those guys. They're playing great great basketball right now. And then also, yeah, about the Pac-12 and everything. You have someone like Oregon State that was projected to be dead last in the Pac-12, and they ended up going all the way to the Sweet 16 or Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. I can't remember. It may have been Elite Eight. They may have made it to the Elite Eight. Yeah, because
they did.
they played. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they're
they played
playing
Houston.
Baylor.
They played Houston. That's right. Uh,
Or Houston.
yeah. So incredible run by the Pac-12. As Dakota says, they're the Conference of Champions. You know, because they win like all the water polo and like swimming and stuff like that. Not to discourage them. Congratulations to those athletes that win that stuff. But all right. So guess I'll go to my buttery pick for this week. And it's kind of a twofer here. It's going to be Miami Dolphins, and by extent, the 49ers also, because both of these teams made a trade, and it's one every now and again you get a trade that when you look at it from both sides, you're like, that kind of makes sense for both sides. It's like that's a win-win for both teams. It was a win-win initially for Miami because, yeah, they jumped back from 3 all the way down to 12, but this is a stacked draft, and they were going to get a great player at 12. There was the possibility, it was a slim possibility, but if enough quarterbacks were taken at the top and some other players were taken, there was a possibility that maybe not Jamar Chase, but one of the three of Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith would have fallen to 12. And then maybe even someone like Patrick Surtain. I think Kyle Pitts would definitely have been gone by the time 12 came around. But there would have been a decent enough player. But then Miami turns around and they jump up from 12. They make a trade with Philly to go to the 6th spot. So Miami, in turn, because of the haul that they got, the initial deal that they made with the 49ers was, so Miami gave up the 3 pick for the 12 pick. So it's basically a first round pick swap. And then they got 2 more first round picks and then a 3rd round pick, which was that the San Francisco got when the Jets hired their new head coach from Shanahan's coaching staff. So, but then they used one of those picks to trade up. So essentially they got a 1st and a 3rd round pick to move back 3 spots and get the guy that they probably were going to get all along, which could be Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts. They're going to have their pick of the litter of whoever they want at 6. Mm-hmm. And it's not uncommon for tight ends to go at 6. Vernon Davis was an example of a tight end that went at 6. And there's been a lot of players or a lot of people saying that Kyle Pitts is a better version of Vernon Davis with the wingspan. You talk about the speed and the versatility. Versatile weapon has kind of become a meme now when describing Kyle Pitts. And the more I think about it, the more I kind of like the idea of Kyle Pitts to Miami. But I trust this organization. I trust this front office. I think they're going to do a great job. And then again, just from the angle of the 49ers, they're going to get the quarterback that they want, be it Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Even there's so many question marks around Trey Lance. I don't doubt the talent, but he's been getting talked up a lot on Cowherd now, but I think that's just because he's dating his daughter. Trey Lance is dating Liv Cowherd now. So that's a flex that he can talk about now. So I think his judgment's a little bit clouded there. But there's also, I will take back what I say about the 49ers here if they draft Mac Jones at number 3. If the first 2 picks go the way everybody think it is, and it's Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson at 2, if they take Jones out of Alabama at number 3 with Justin Fields and Trey Lance there, then I'll probably take back what I say about the 49ers here. But right now it's a dub, because if they're going to be as good as they probably are, then those first round picks are going to be late first round picks anyway. Sure, you can get great players at the end of the first round, but all across the board, that team's pretty much where it needs to be. And so yeah, it's a win for both of them. But we'll get to Philly here in just a second too. So
I'm definitely gonna leave Philly to you because you can just go, you can just start it, and I will definitely go and finish that because I got a lot to say about them. So I'm not even gonna bring them.
okay,
I'm not even gonna bring them up right now. I will just go and talk about. I'm just gonna talk about your Niners. I'm just gonna talk about the Niners and your Dolphins. Dolphins, great. Okay, whatever, however they want to do things, with this draft, they hit it out of the park. Okay, you didn't need the 3 pick just because you already got a quarterback. And I mean, speaks to a whole other thing of all these people clamoring for the Dolphins to go and draft another quarterback. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but Tua literally had not even a full season. Can we give the guy time to actually like prove himself? Because I think that whole thing is like so stupid. Like, no, they're not getting another quarterback. They don't need one. Tua is going to be the guy. Okay,
yeah.
he just needs a little more than like
And
10 games.
if I could
Okay?
interject and say this real quick too, someone did bring up when people were talking about moving on from Tua and how
Yeah.
bad of a year he had. I forget who was describing it, but I forget his name. Crap. Anyway, I can see him in my head. He's an offensive lineman. He's with Fox Sports now, but he was talking about how and he calls games, and he called a Dolphins and Broncos game, and he was talking to Brian Flores after it was a game against the 49ers, actually, excuse me. They played the 49ers, and the Dolphins beat the crap out of the 49ers because that was the week the 49ers had to play when like half of their roster was on
Yeah.
COVID protocol. They're rolling out there with third stringers pretty much. So the Dolphins completely slacked them. He asked Brian Flores about Tua if it was going to be time for him to start anytime soon. And Brian Flores said that if Tua was my son, he would not play at all this season. And so, we were all questioning and wondering why. Even I was questioning, like, why is Brian Flores rolling with Tua? And then you see Brian Flores pulling Tua at some points and throwing in Fitzpatrick. Well, now it seems like that wasn't a Flores decision, that was an upper management decision to play Tua. So Brian Flores didn't even think Tua was ready last season. If your head coach doesn't think you're ready, you're probably not ready.
No.
But hopefully, I think he'll be ready this year.
Yeah, I think Tua will be fine. And the Dolphins are set up for great success down the road. And the Niners, this is going to be, I think what they're going to do is they're going to do what pretty much the Chiefs did to Alex Smith. They're going to draft a quarterback, let him learn under Jimmy for a year, and then they're going to kick Jimmy to the curb next year and let their franchise QB lead the way. Which honestly, I do think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going 3. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see the Niners taking Justin Fields. I think that Justin Fields is going to fall a little bit. I mean, obviously not too much. He'll still be a top 10 pick, in my opinion, but I don't think he's going to go 3. I think Trey Lance is going 3. I think that's who Shanahan really has his eye on. Now, in a perfect world, they want Zach Wilson, but I'm pretty convinced that the Jets are taking Zach Wilson at 2. So unless something changes and the Jets don't do that, then I think the Niners are going to go with Trey Lance there. And you know what? Listen, it was a good trade for both sides. Both sides worked out well. And then the Dolphins went and fleeced another one of the teams that I absolutely hate. For like it was almost like you all you guys did was like, hey, listen, Howie, buddy, so like you want to swap picks with us and like give us 6 and you guys take 12. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I thought that losing that game against the Washington football team was important for your draft position, right? Yeah, assholes. Anyway,
so you want me to just roll into Philly because I got them as my burnt?
You know what? Yeah, go ahead, roll into Philly, and then I'll do my burn because it's not Philly. But you go ahead. Let's keep this rolling.
Okay, so yeah, as just stated, Philly is my burnt pick, and it's involving this same trade. So there's like there's at least probably 4 really good quarterbacks in this draft. I don't know what order like they'll go in outside of Trevor Lawrence going first. And if the rumors are true, then Zach Wilson will be second, and then it'll probably be either Trey Lance or Justin Fields right behind him. And it could be the opposite order. And it all depends on what other team close to draft day decides to be aggressive and pull the trigger. I think I'm still not counting out Carolina as being a potential suitor for trading up on draft day or sometime before draft day. I'm still keeping a close eye on Carolina because it doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull the trigger on Deshaun Watson. So, but at 6, you could have either used that to trade up and get you a quarterback, or you could have got a really good skill. You could have had your pick at the litter with skill position players, pretty much what Miami's going to do, because basically picks 1 through 4 are probably going to be quarterbacks depending on where everybody is picking there and who all's picking where. And then number 5 is the Bengals. They may go with a skill position player. They may go wide out. I know there's rumors about Jamar Chase reuniting with Joe Burrow, but it seems like they're trending more towards someone like a Penei Sewell, and so that way they can protect Joe Burrow, because that was the reason why he went down, was because the man was running for his life for about 5 or 6 weeks before he was finally put out for the season. So, and yeah, like you said, the whole point in them losing that game was so that way they had a better draft spot.
Yep.
And they just gave it up. And you could make the argument, oh, well, they got more draft capital for it. They got 1 extra first round pick. That's going to be a late first round pick because it's San Francisco's first round pick. Like I just don't see the logic in there. Like, you can't even ask, like, like the Dolphins moved up 6 spots and gave up 1 first round pick, 1 extra first round pick. That's all Miami did. Like, if you're jumping up 6 spots into the top 10 of the draft, not only should you be giving up an extra first round pick, you probably need to have multiple other picks in there, like maybe a second, maybe a third pick in there also, maybe a later pick in the draft too. Like, you should give up a significant amount to move up from 12 to 6, because just 3 spots in front of 6 that Miami had, they got 2 first round picks and a third round pick. I just don't see the logic in there. Like, I guess it's because of who's going to get drafted there. Maybe that, has implications on how much that draft pick is worth. But Philly should have gotten so much more. And in fact, Philly was trying to trade up for the number 3 spot, but they wanted Zach Wilson because they're not sure on Jalen Hurts. But of course, you have the smoke screen. You have no idea what's happening with the Jets. You don't know if they're going to take Zach Wilson, if they're going to take Penei Sewell, or maybe they try to trade back with the Panthers, maybe even the Broncos or somebody are going to try to leapfrog everybody and go to 2, and they get a significant haul for that number 2 pick. We just don't know what's happening. And Howie Roseman's just going to be Howie Roseman. They're going to fall back to 12. And the hopes that I had for Miami at 12 are similar to the hopes that I guess Eagles fans can have. But then again, it's Howie Roseman, so he's going to mess it up. He's going to pick Kyle Trask or something with the 12th pick. And I have no idea. It's going to be a wild card at 12 right now. And it really all depends on if there's another trade, if there's a trade up in the draft, about who's going to be available at that spot. And it's the same logic that I was using with Miami. I'm still keeping a close eye on a couple teams. I'm expecting the Cowboys to take probably someone in the secondary. So that's Patrick Surtain, which means that there was a chance that a skill position player, one of those top 3 receivers, may find their way there. But knowing Howie Roseman, the man doesn't know how to draft. So I don't trust them at all. All the top QBs are gone. They may have one skill position player left. Kyle Pitts can be a game changer. He's probably going to be the best player, like just pure talent wise, out of this draft. He's definitely not going to be available. It was awful. They didn't get the haul that they should have for allowing Miami to jump from 12-6, and they're probably going to screw it up.
Without a doubt, the Eagles are going to screw this up. Howie Roseman could literally sit there and have Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle, and you know what he's going to do? Not draft either one of them. He's going to go and draft a D2 football player and think that he knows better than everybody else. He's going to go and draft the next J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. That's what he's going to go and do. This is just what he does. This is what the Eagles do. Recent history, this is just what the Eagles do. They just screw themselves. They don't know it's almost like they don't know what's going on. It's like Howie Roseman isn't even running the show. It's almost like we got Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's some episode where they're like where him and the other two guys are like GMs of the Eagles for like the month of March leading into the draft, and they're like, here guys, you get to be the Eagles GM. Like, this is it's crazy. It's honestly crazy because at 6 you had your pick of so many different guys you could have used to help out Jalen Hurts, who I don't know if you think he's good, you think he's not good. We don't know because you shipped Carson Wentz, friggin' packed his bags for him and made him leave Philadelphia for Jalen Hurts. Now you don't know if Jalen Hurts is the guy. It doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. Then you go and you decide to trade back to 12. Now you got no hope of getting a quarterback. So is Jalen Hurts the guy now? I have no idea. I mean, like, are you going to draft anybody worthwhile to help him? Probably not, sitting at 12. I mean, you don't know how this thing's going to come, how it's going to turn out. But at the same time, they don't know how to draft. So odds are they'll end up sitting there with a talented skill position player, most likely, like Waddle or Devonta Smith, whichever one, depending on how the chips fall here. And I wouldn't be surprised if Howie Roseman doesn't take either one of them. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? You won't catch me crying about it because I don't care. Let the Eagles be 4-12 every year for the next 5 years. That just means there's one less team
and it
have to worry about.
I know, and it's honestly is your Giants pick right before them. If any skill position player falls out of the top 10, the Giants are snagging them up. I mean, that's exactly what the Giants need to do. That's one of the big needs that they have. And I just don't understand how you could allow yourself to move back behind your division rivals and let them get the best of the best skill position players, because Waddle, Chase, and Smith, if they were drafted in separate drafts, would all be wide receiver 1 of their draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're probably going to walk onto any team that they get drafted by, and they are instantly going to be wide receiver 1 on that team. They are going to be the main target and are going to help out any quarterback in a massive, massive way. Like, could you imagine if, let's say, Devonta Smith or Waddle falls to number 11 and you pair him up with Kenny Golladay in New York? Like, that's a giant. That's Giant fan dream.
Jackson,
and you're letting them. You're letting them do that. You are letting a division rival outdo you, and they didn't do anything. You're the one that did it. You're the one that's allowing this. You made it happen. The Giants didn't do a thing. They're staying put. It's not like they jumped you purposefully got behind them in line when you had a better spot in line.
I also just love how Kenny Golladay was scheduled to meet with the Eagles like the next day after meeting with the Giants. Yeah, let's just say he never made it to that interview. Just saying. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna talk my shit now because I know what the Giants could do to me, so I'm gonna talk my shit now before the season starts. Have my fun. But anyway, I'll move into my burn pick this week. And my burn pick this week is going to be Michigan basketball. I'm sorry, man. I just feel so bad for these guys at this point. That whole state of Michigan, they don't have not one team that they can rely on. Not one. Not the college teams, not the pro teams. I don't know. They probably don't even have the high school teams to rely on. I have no idea what's going on high school wise there, but you got. I mean, it's just been like this Michigan team. They were good. Like they were actually good this year. I thought they were at least going to go to the Final Four. How many years has it? I think this is the 4th year in a row that Michigan's been to the Elite Eight at least and not won the national championship. You know how crazy that is? You've been to 4 Elite Eights in a row and you couldn't win 2 more games after that. And not even that. They go and lose to an 11 seed UCLA. I get UCLA is not really Cinderella because they're still a Power 5 school. But at the same time, Michigan was much better than them on paper. I thought they were better than them talent-wise, but they just choked. You know, not scoring for the last 5 minutes of the game really doesn't help anybody. Like, that was just absolutely ridiculous. And I felt so bad because you got Jalen Rose there and Juwan Howard's coaching them. Jalen Rose probably sitting on the sideline like, God damn it, it's the Fab Five all over again. Get me out of here. It's like people of Michigan just can't catch a break. Like the Tigers suck, the Lions suck, the Red Wings terrible, the Pistons are just a wasteland of losing, and the Michigan Wolverines can never get over the hump. Michigan football. We don't even got to talk about that. That's just been an absolute train wreck. Like I just feel bad for people in Michigan at this point.
Yeah, about Michigan. Fun fact on Symbol, which by the way, use our promo code, go to symbol.app/vendetta, get $10 on your first deposit, at Symbol. Great website with you buy stocks in teams rather than just like straight betting on teams. All the 3 professional sports that they have so far, Major League Baseball, the NFL, and the NBA, all Detroit teams are at $20 or less, which is literally, there's like maybe 10 teams in total that are $20 or less. They're at the bottom of all teams of prices on the entire site, and Detroit's got like 3 of those 10.
So sad. Just a barren wasteland of losing and more disappointment. It's sad because I got a friend from Michigan and he's fans of all these teams. He's a fan of absolutely every one of these teams, and this man just can never catch a dub nowhere.
No, I've got a high school friend that's a Michigan fan or a Michigan sports team fan, and it's just, I feel for him. When the Cardinals beat them in the World Series, it was just awful. It was awful for him. Because everyone in my area is St. Louis Cardinals fans.
Yeah, he's just getting ripped every day.
Yeah, he's getting bullied. He was pretty much getting bullied.
Get bullied for being a Tigers fan. Listen, bullying's not funny, but getting bullied for being a Tigers fan is pretty funny.
It's funny, but he didn't need it because he was a Tigers fan, so he's already getting bullied enough.
Exactly. He's getting bullied by the rest of the team in the MLB.
It's like from The Simpsons, the meme where it's like, stop, he's already dead.
He's already dead. Oh man. All right,
so you want to do your extra crispy, or was that your extra crispy?
That was my burnt.
Okay, now you're the extra.
I'll go into.
Okay, so go with your extra crispy.
So my extra crispy this week is none other than who I consider the most annoying person that reps New York ever, Michael Rapaport. This man got absolutely obliterated on Twitter by first it was Dave Portnoy, then he got annihilated by Kevin Durant because his stupid ass goes and posts the DMs of Kevin Durant basically bitching him out the whole time. And like I can't even tell you what Kevin Durant said in these messages. You just have to go look at it. I can't actually tell you it.
I looked
we will like
I looked at
the video. This video won't even go up on YouTube if I tell you what was said. Okay, just know it was a lot of cussing, a lot of disrespect, and you know what? If Michael Rapaport was really the tough guy that he like promotes himself to be, those would have been fighting words instantly. And you know what? He goes and lawyers up, and like now he's just getting dragged through the mud on social media. It's like there's not a single person that's like coming to his defense right now. It's literally just everybody just ganging up on him. And you know what, man? I'm so tired of like Michael Rapaport because I hate when I see him on TV talking about sports, and it bothers me so much. Like 2 years ago, he for some reason hates LeBron James. 2 years ago, when LeBron missed like a month and a half of the season, and our second best player was freaking Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram wasn't even good yet. The Lakers barely missed the playoffs, mind you. And he's like sitting there laughing hysterically that we missed the playoffs. Yeah, well, what do we do, Michael Rapaport? The next year we won the finals, okay? So you and your pathetic Knicks can shut up, all right? Because also, he's not even a real Knicks fan, may I mind you, may I add, because when they drafted Porzingis, before the guy even took a dribble on the court, he's already talking mad crap about Porzingis. Granted, Porzingis didn't work out, all right? All right, but at the time, Porzingis was a unicorn. He was a really promising young player. Injuries have kind of started to derail his career, but that's besides the point. The point is Michael Rapaport is really just a phony. He's just a big phony, and he pretends that he still has that New York blood, but no, he lives out in California, and you can't live out in LA and California and still rep New York. I'm sorry, but it don't work like that. So you know what? I'm happy you got dragged by Kevin Durant and Dave Portnoy. So Mike Rapaport, you are my extra crispy toast this week. Have fun dealing with Twitter for the next couple weeks.
Oh, it was so funny to watch, seeing all that happen. And it's sometimes Twitter's great. Sometimes it's a horrible place, and it makes me, question humanity. But sometimes it can be really funny and really entertaining. Also, he is the least of the Rapaports. We stand Ian Rapaport here, not Michael Rapaport.
Absolutely.
So he will always be the lesser Rapaport in sports. 100%.
110%.
All right. So my extra crispy is also a self-proclaimed tough guy. In fact, he is the self-proclaimed best defender in NBA history. Draymond Green.
Oh my God, go ahead.
Listen, dude.
Go off.
He's, for one, you're not even really the best defender of this generation of players, okay?
He ain't even the best defender in the league right now.
No, he's not. You see his ankles get broken by freaking Christian Wood? Christian Wood, for goodness sakes. I like Christian Wood. I think he's a great player, but the man does not have like Dame or Kyrie handles. The man looked like he was stretching out his hammies. He fell over so hard. And I mean, when you go back and you look at some of the greatest defensive players in history, Kobe, the Mamba himself, he said Tony Allen was the greatest defender that he ever played against. And the stories are hilarious. I got to tell this one real quick because Tony's always on a a Memphis Grizzlies podcast. It's like every Tuesday. It's like Tuesdays with Tony Allen.
Yeah.
And one time he was talking about how he was playing Kobe one day, and Kobe, anytime that TA and Kobe were tangled up, he just like Kobe was just mumbling dates, like these different
Yeah.
dates.
I know this story.
And and Tony's like, I don't know what these dates are. What are they? They were the dates of his cousins' birthdays. Like relatives, Tony Allen's relatives. Kobe was telling him that he knew the birthdays, like just psychological warfare. And it was so fun to like see the two of them do battle against each other, because you had like a pure offensive guy and a pure defensive guard just going head to head every night. And Kobe is one of the best offensive players to ever play the game. And he never mentioned you, Draymond. Okay. And he's not the best defender in the league now. That's probably Joel Embiid. Let's be real. And listen to this other list. I got some of the best bigs, you know, some of the best defending bigs. This isn't everybody, because it's an extremely long list and we'd be here all night if I listed players that were better defensively than Draymond Green. All right. Ben Wallace, the Glove, Gary Payton, Dennis Rodman, Dave Robinson, MJ, Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm sorry, Draymond, you're not in that stratosphere of players, okay? And like I said, that list can go on forever. Think of like, you could think of like Tim Duncan and KG too, you know? Even Giannis. Giannis may be a better defender than you.
Yeah.
I don't know why Draymond does this. He thinks he's tough stuff, but he was always the fourth or fifth guy on the Warriors team. Like David Lee was ahead of him on that Warriors team. And that's another thing too. He's definitely one of those guys. He's like Shaq, that whenever he's in an argument and he knows he's losing, he's just like, yeah, well, I got rings. Kind of like his Subway commercial. But mine's got more rings.
That's actually a funny one.
But and then there's just, you go look up, there's a lot of highlights of him getting cooked. Like there's even one where my guy Mike Conley shook him and hit a game winner against Golden State back during that 73 win season.
Yeah.
And like I get it, he's the motor guy for them, and I won't take that away from him. But he is a single double or a triple single machine. And I don't think I think his career high is like 23 points. So he's never really been the offensive guy for a team. Defensively, he peaked for a couple years, but honestly, if you put him in any other system other than that Warrior system, I do not think he gets, like his reputation is not as high as it is. He thrived in that position, but it's only because he had Steve Kerr as a coach, and then he was playing with two of the best shooters in NBA history, and then probably one of the best scorers in NBA history when KD came onto the scene. So Draymond, you're not the greatest player. You're not the greatest defensive player ever to play the game. You're not even the greatest defensive player in the league currently. And even in years that you won Defensive Player of the Year, all those awards are subjective anyways. So
yeah. Hey, listen, I'm not a big Draymond guy. I personally think Draymond is like a little too annoying for like his skill set. Like I don't think he's that talented to be as annoying as he is. I'll give him credit. He's got rings. I mean, granted, they were off the back of MVP Curry and Kevin Durant, but whatever. Anyways, I remember, I don't know if this was recently, it might have been last year. NBA Twitter normally sets me off because I always see something just really, really stupid. And then I go and just decide to go look at the comments. And normally the majority of what I see is on the more idiotic point. This one was a picture, a photoshopped image of Shaq backing down Draymond Green. And it said, how does this play end? Draymond getting dunked on or Shaq getting blocked. And I go into the comments and I'm like, I know what I'm going to see. I already know what I'm going to see here. What do I see? A whole bunch of people. Oh, Draymond was going to block him. Yeah, shut the hell up, okay? Shaq would have literally put his nuts on Draymond Green's head, dunked on him, and pushed on the Chris Dudley dunk. Okay,
I forget the guy's name. Yeah, it'd be that highlight against the Knicks, like over again, where he just shoves it, like he just, yeah.
That was.
I mean, this is a man that pulled the freaking rim down. Like not even the rim. It wasn't just the rim. It was the whole.
The NBA had to go the NBA had to go and remake all of their rims because of Shaquille O'Neal. He was breaking all of the rims, and they're like, "Okay, we got to do something." It's like this just caused so many problems. Like, you know how long it takes just to wheel in another rim? Like we gotta speed this up. They're like, "Let's just make the rims that don't break." This man was shattering backboards. He goes to random rec leagues, and like he can't even hang. He like can't even dunk as hard as he would, because if he does, he shatters the backboard. Like, come on, dude, get out of here. Draymond is not blocking that man. That's just some stupid things I see on NBA Twitter. And like, Draymond isn't even the best defender in the league right now. And like, I could make a case that he's not even the best defender on the Warriors. I can make a case that Clay is. I mean, like, hey man, I don't know. I just don't think I don't think he's that good.
Shoot, throw James Wiseman in the mix too. He's a rookie.
Why not? Why not? Hey, in a couple of years, James Wiseman could be the next, like defensive anchor. Never know. But anyway, while we're on the topic of the Warriors, former super teams, I'm going to my soggy toast this week. Soggy toast this week, and this is just not even really this week. It's just like, I'm sure everyone remembers the classic freezing cold takes where they took KD's tweet of when he was like, "Why does everyone nowadays want to go to the Lakers or the Heat?" This man, not only did we get pissed at him when he went to the Warriors, okay, goes to the Nets and goes, "Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to go to a super team. I'm just going to go somewhere and make a super team." Goes to the Nets. It's him and Kyrie, and you're like, all right, you know what? Like, that's fine. Whatever. There's a bunch of dynamic duos in the league right now. Like, this is cool. Like, this is a cool era of the game. Like, everyone's got duos. The Clippers, Kawhi, PG, the Lakers, LeBron, Anthony Davis. I go on and on. There's a bunch of duos. Then he goes and they get James Harden and they get Blake Griffin, who just randomly got his prime back because now the dude's catching alleys again and scoring 16 points a game. When he was in Detroit, he was shooting 1 of 5 from the field. What are they doing? Giving primes back? I don't understand. Now they got LaMarcus Aldridge, and I know everybody, or like not everybody, but like I know Alex Chick was trying to tell us, all LaMarcus Aldridge washed up, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I know he's washed up. The problem is he'll go to the Nets and magically become LaMarcus Aldridge of like 2013 again. That's my issue. And Kevin Durant just built a super team, okay? Like, for everything that people wanted to say about LeBron James and the Heat, I'm sorry, but you know what? The Heat did not anywhere close to have the amount of pull that this team does. They got Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden. They got 3 guys all in their primes. You could go and say LeBron, Dwayne Wade, they were in their prime. You could Chris Bosh was almost out of his prime, but after that, what did you have? I mean, not much. I mean, you had role players like Ray Allen, but Ray Allen was way past his prime. They still got Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. You want to pick 2 guys who are a little past their prime that can help you out a lot. And I mean, Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge are probably top 2 people I'd pick. It's just crazy to me. And then Kevin Durant, he used to be all about, everyone wants to make a super team now. And then, you just literally you pretty much ruined the NBA for 4 years. Not consecutively, but you pretty much just ruined the NBA for 4 years. So, Kevin Durant is like, sometimes I just can't stand like how like the amount of super team pull that this guy has.
Yeah. It's something that Alex, Chick, and I have always tried to talk to Trey about. And it's like, no one faults Kevin Durant for leaving OKC.
No,
just
I don't.
it's
I
the
don't at
fact that
all.
he joins a 73 win. It's the fact that he joined a 73 win team that probably would have won another ring without KD. Like let's be real. They would have made it back to the finals that next year. They may, and it would have been another tough one. Like literally the only reason why they lost against the Cavs that season was because LeBron ascended to godhood in that series. Okay,
So did
like
Kyrie. Kyrie was
that was
going for
some
like
of
40
the
points
best
too.
LeBron James
Yeah.
basketball I've ever seen in my life. It was one of the greatest series to watch. It was awesome. And it was literally when I my son that's in the room sleeping next to me, when he asks what is some of the greatest basketball I've ever seen in my life, I'm gonna tell him go back and watch that series
Yeah,
and watch
26
LeBron
that
when they're
2016
down 3-1.
LeBron.
I've never seen a man play basketball like that, and that was the sole reason why. And so it is quite possible that they could have made it back that next year, but ifs and buts were candies, and that's we'd all have a Merry Christmas. At the end of the day, he went, and so yeah, he went back on that because he wanted a championship, and there's a lot of people, and it's like there's a lot of factors, there's a lot of ingredients that has created the NBA that we have today. One is the emphasis on you're nothing without championships. So, and it's gotten to the point now where it's like it's not even just like guys like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, where they're at the tail end of their careers. They put in, their primes at other places, couldn't get it done. They're getting close to the end and they want a ring. So they'll accept a lower contract and go to a competitor and try to compete for a title. Okay. So I don't blame Aldridge and Griffin for joining the Nets because that's probably their best chance at getting a ring for, the next whatever, how many years they have left in the league, which probably isn't much. But I see what's happening as a repercussion for what LeBron did. And I've talked about this on the other two podcasts that I've appeared on this week. And it's that we've had super teams in the past, but they've all happened organically. They've happened through the draft, like with the Warriors and what the Celtics did back in the 80s. Because it was back in the 80s, too. When you look at the Lakers and the Celtics during the 80s, they had 3, 4, 5 Hall of Famers on each team. That's a super team. And then, of course, we see, so it didn't start with the Celtics. And I really don't even consider that as like the start of the modern NBA when it comes to super teams, because they drafted Paul Pierce and then they traded for KG and Ray Allen. They had the capital to go get those guys and they got them. Then LeBron decides that he's going to do something that no other player has done before, and it's convince other stars to follow him to team up in Miami and form a big three. And it changed the league forever, for better and for worse, because now the NBA is to a point where players have most of the leverage. And I tend to agree that to an extent that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The like these players get some of the largest percentage of any player base for professional sport. The only like league that makes more than them is MLB, but you have to put in a lot of years. You have to put in like 6-7 years in the majors to finally get to that point. And it's like some guys don't hit free agency till they're like 28, 29, and then that's their one chance at a payday.
Exactly.
You can walk into the NBA after 4 years, you're making 30. Yeah. You walk into the NBA after 3 years, you can make $30-40 million, depending on how good you are and how early you can get that second contract. But what's happening now is because I see people talking, all of this to beat LeBron. They got to get all this to beat LeBron. And it's like, well, yeah, because LeBron's doing the exact same thing. He did the exact same thing because he got Anthony Davis there, and he almost got Kawhi there. If Kawhi, the rumors have always been that if Kawhi didn't get Paul George to go to the Clippers, then Kawhi was going to sign with the Lakers. He would have been happy about it, apparently, but he still would have done it. And LeBron was trying to recruit him, and now he's trying to recruit Steph, according to Winehurst, however you say his name, from ESPN, that he started to recruit him for what is it, like 2 free agencies from now when he's a free agent, something like that.
I'm with it.
Like
I'm
LeBron has literally been doing this for the past 8 years or so, and it's just no one joins him because they want to beat him. So they all congregate elsewhere. And right now it's the Nets. It
I'm
used to
telling
be
you right
Golden
now,
State.
it
Now
was.
it's the Nets.
It was. But I'm telling you right now, if the Brooklyn Nets do not win the NBA Finals, I'm not even talking
Oh, it's
just make it there. If they do not win the NBA Finals, Kevin Durant is a joke,
Oh.
and Kyrie Irving, I literally never want to hear from Kyrie Irving again. I don't want to hear him open his mouth about flat Earth.
Oh no, I agree. It will be one of the greatest failures of all time if the Nets do not win.
100%. 100%. There is no next year. It's right here, right now. You don't win, failure. Biggest of sports history. My opinion, at least.
Yeah, I agree. And in fact, I will be sticking with Kevin Durant for my soggy toast.
Okay.
But from a different angle, it's people like me who are fantasy owners of Kevin Durant and our fantasy basketball leagues. He's been on the COVID protocol twice. He's been out a while with injuries. It's just tough, man. It's just really tough. I'm in a 12-team league. I could be top 4, top 3 right now if it wasn't for that, and it's tough because I'm barely losing all these games. Like most of my games are close, but because KD's out, it's just like what's the point? And then we're getting close to the end, so it's like there's no way I'm gonna make the playoffs in our league.
3 weeks.
There's no way I can compete for a championship even if I do. So it's just it's tough, It's tough for all KD owners out there, It's sucks for us. We believed in him. I believed in him. I took him with my first not first overall pick, but I took him with my number 1 pick, and he was doing great to start out with. Went on the COVID list, came back, was playing just as good, act like he didn't miss a beat, maybe an off game here and there, but you expect that to happen. And then, it was a sad year. And then of course it didn't help because I also had Karis LeVert also.
Oof.
And and then and I had to drop him. I know he's back, but I had to drop him, and I spent a high pick on him too, which sucked. But oh well, life is full of dubs and L's, and most times you're going to take more L's than dubs, and this is one of those times. Life lessons learned.
Yeah, I actually played the Kevin Durant owner in my fantasy basketball league that I'm in. I think I played him like 2 weeks ago. Well, let's just say it didn't go good for that team.
It's like 30, 40 points a night that I miss.
I don't want to brag, but my team's 11-2. I'm the number 1 overall seed. I've won 11 straight weeks. I started off 0-2 and then won 11 in a row because I got the man Steph Curry, who just came back with a vengeance this year. Couldn't be happier. Could not be happier that Steph Curry came back with a vengeance. But I ended up I didn't even get the chance to get KD because I had the number 9 or 10 pick. I was literally one of the last 2 picks of the first round, and Steph Curry was there. I was like, all right.
I know. I was smack dab in the middle at 6 or 7. So doing those snake drafts, I'm screwed because I'm in the middle. So I don't get the best player, and I don't go back to back with really good players. I just get in the middle.
I hate being in the middle of snake drafts. I can't stand being. I want to either be towards the front or towards the back. I don't like those middle 3 picks. Are awful because you sit there and you just watch guys fly off the board, and it's like, wow, I'm screwed.
Yeah, it's even if you have the number 1 overall pick, it's gonna be a while before you pick again. But you're at least I got Giannis. That's 50 points a night.
Yeah, exactly. I actually had a good draft. I actually got both Curry brothers. I ended up getting I like pick up guys like every week because like for some reason my team's been relatively healthy this year. Knock on wood. Like I haven't had I haven't
Mine
had
has not. It has been
haven't had
bad.
too many injuries. Like a couple of COVID protocols, but nothing too serious. So hey, thank God for that. That's all I'll say there.
I will say this though, I'm not the person in my league that forgot to change their lineup one night, and Bradley Beal scored 92 points
That's
in
rough.
fantasy
Yeah,
in our
that's
league.
rough.
The way it scored, had 92 fantasy points. It was I can't remember what night that was. It was early in the season.
Yeah.
And also I think that was the week where he had like 2-3 or so 40-point games like in the same week, and it was like one of those games where he like went well above 40 points.
So yeah, so
they still
easily 70 plus points every game he played that week.
Yeah, and he missed the game where Beal put up 90 something.
That's rough. I wonder what the top fantasy score is this year for a player. Actually, I think I know what I think it was a Joel Embiid game because I played the guy who had Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid had like 120 points against me on his own. He had like a 40. I think he had like a 40. He had like a 40 or 50-point triple double. It was like something ridiculous because like in my league, it's like I think it's an extra 4. It's an extra 4 points for a triple double, an extra 2 points for the double double. So that's 6 points just for getting the triple double. Then you count in all the other stats he had. He ended up with 120, and I'm like, I think like the week before that I had Steph dropping 93, and I thought that was good. And I'm like, okay, this kid just got a 120 with Joel Embiid. All right, excuse me. But, like my bad, bro. Okay, like I see you. Oh, all right. So my toast of the week, this week. Now, this may not just be this week, just overall. So through the March Madness tournament, you know who's really the toast? This is more like toast of the tournament. The toast of the tournament is the ACC Conference. When's the last time we didn't have an ACC team in the Elite Eight at all? Like we had none of them, and man, what a fall from grace! Like we were at a point not too long ago where it was like we had a Final Four. 3 of the teams were ACC teams. I mean, most of the time it was really just Duke and North Carolina meeting up in the Final Four or something like that. But it's been quite a while. And this year, the ACC just sucked, man. You got Virginia got bounced early. North Carolina got bounced early. Duke didn't even make it. It was just a really rough year. Goes back to the Blue Bloods, who just had a really rough year this year. Honestly, it's actually going to be interesting to me what happens next year when COVID is a lot lessened than this year, and they actually can practice and go to have a camp and all that stuff. I'd actually be interested to see how these teams rebound. Which, in my honest opinion, I think Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke are going to be just fine. I think they'll still be top 15 teams in the nation next year. I think this was just a weird year. Write it off. No big deal. But ACC basketball really fell off. I don't know what you guys did this year, but it wasn't playing good basketball. I'll tell you that.
It would be like an SEC team not making the college football playoff. Like that's like the equivalent.
Of
Jackson, this happening.
I wanted to tell you my fault, bro. I'm sorry about Arkansas, man. I was really rooting for them.
Hey, listen, man. Listen.
That's what I was trying.
They put up a good fight. Baylor could not miss. Okay.
No, I know. I was watching that game.
Baylor could not freaking miss, dude. Like I was watching it too, and I'm like, what are we supposed to do? Like the fact that they got it back down to single digits and ended up losing only by 9.
Yeah,
I'll take that as a win. Like you mean to tell me one of the best teams in the country, probably the second best team in the country, shot that well from the field and from 3, and we hung in there and ended up losing by 9, by single digits. I take that as a win every day of the week because I didn't think we'd make it to the Elite Eight. I thought the Sweet 16 was our limit. And the fact that they had played such close games against what on paper should have been lesser competition, but when you're in the actual game, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Had to hit a game winner to beat Oral Roberts. And then had to have Texas Tech miss like 4 layups in a row to beat them, and then just an awful game. And it really kind of boiled down to, I think, I just think that they were nervous. I think that was a big part of it, and they couldn't get in a rhythm. Like Moses Moody, who was the leading scorer for Arkansas, he couldn't get it going. He had a terrible showing, and I wonder if that's going to have an effect on if he declares for the draft or not, because a lot of people had him declaring for the draft and they have him as a lottery pick, actually. But I wonder if that means maybe he stays one more year to try to have a better showing, because they made it this far and they were the youngest team, one of the younger teams in the tournament. They were starting 3 freshmen, and then most of everyone else that was contributing, like 2 other major contributors, were transfers. So you had like basically 5 of like the 7 rotation guys that this was their first season in a Razorback uniform. And it was a COVID season where they really didn't get to practice with each other till the fall. So I take that as a win to the bank every single day. One of the best teams that they've had in the tournament since the 90s. And a good showing for the recruits too. Really, Musselman showed that he could make really good adjustments on the fly when they overcame a double digit every single game. So I think there's something there. There's something there.
Yeah.
But
listen,
enough about Arkansas.
Yeah. Hey man, I just wanted to say that
I could talk all day.
I thought about it, like I was thinking about it, like while we were talking, and then I forgot it, and then like while I was just saying about Despo in the Elite Eight, I was like, oh, Arkansas. I was like, oh man, had a good run.
Dude,
honestly, it really came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere this year. So you know what? Take it. Bright future. You get them next year.
Yeah. We'll see how many of them come back, and we'll see what the incoming class looks like. So we'll move to my toast of the week. It involves more trades because I feel like I could do better trades. I feel like if I was in a GM chair, and I have absolutely zero experience being a GM, I feel like I could at least do a little bit better. I at least could have gotten like a 5th round pick if I was in Howie Roseman position, an extra 5th round pick for Miami. But speaking of Miami again, and in a trade that benefited Miami, my toast of the week is the Houston Rockets, because it's a culmination of the James Harden trade and then the eventual dumping of Victor Oladipo. So the James Harden trade, player-wise, they got Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. That's what they turned James Harden into, was Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. And now they have a bunch of late first-round picks that they have to hit on for them to be good. And the deeper you go in the NBA draft, the more of a crapshoot it kind of gets. Not to say that you can't find gems back there. I feel like my Grizzlies have done a great job with doing that, with players like Xavier Tillman, Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark, all guys that were taken 20 and beyond in the draft. And they are key contributors to an NBA team that is currently fighting for a playoff spot, and they're all rookies and sophomores. So I'm not saying that you can't find decent players, but decent players will only get you so far. You need world beaters if you want to get back to where the Rockets have been. And for them to do that, they're going to have to suck. They're going to have to rely on their own picks.
Yeah.
And you gave up a former MVP, and you got back Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. That's what he turned into.
That's just that's awful.
And
so bad.
How do you give up Victor Oladipo and not even get someone like Duncan Robinson from Miami? Like, how do you let them keep Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn and everybody? You got to take one of them. Like, come on, man.
That was that
It
was
just
a really, really bad
it
trade.
doesn't make any sense. And then it's like not even that. It's like at the beginning they got Oladipo, but they should have been the ones to end up with Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. That's who they should have gotten in return, because it sounded like they were ready to move Depot from the start when they got him. So it's like, what's going on in Houston? What's going on with the Rockets, man? It's just it's a terrible week. They're gonna turn into the new Timberwolves, is what's gonna happen, where they're just gonna be stuck in like that bottom 3 spot of the West, because the West is too good. And unless they add like 7 teams on the West Coast, then there's no chance for them to like move east. So I don't know what's going on with the Rockets, man. They're my toast of the week.
Yeah.
Turned James Harden into Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. Oh my gosh.
That was like so bad. Like that's just so awful. Like, how could you sit there and live with yourself? And like I wouldn't even, like, I know that they were like, we gotta kind of trade Victor Oladipo, but at the same time, it's like you couldn't get something else. Like you don't sit there and think about the fact that you just basically traded James Harden for Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. Like, you don't think about that. It's just, come on, man. Like, you gotta do better than that. That was terrible. That was so bad.
Again, like I said, I think I could do a better job than some of these GMs. I've never even sniffed a GM's office. I don't even know what the inside of a GM's office looks like. Like, do they have a couch in there? Like, you know, do like, is it in like the actual building of the stadium? Is it somewhere else? I don't freaking know. I don't know. All I know is if you put me on the phone with Miami and I'm for the Houston Rockets, I'm like, listen, can we at least get Duncan Robinson? We're giving you freaking Victor Oladipo here. Here's all of his stats. Here's his analytics. Give us some first round, give us some picks, and give us Duncan Robinson at least. Something, anything, anybody.
I wouldn't take anything less than 2 second rounds and Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero. I wouldn't take anything less than that. I would, and if they really tried to push Kelly Olynyk on me, I'd be like, yeah, no thanks, buddy. They could have probably traded him to the Knicks and got something a lot better. They could have got like an actual, maybe like a good young player from the Knicks, because the Knicks, I heard rumors that they were willing to trade for Victor Oladipo, but Rockets just dumb, I guess.
So bad.
Yeah, they end up with
so bad. I just don't understand how can you be this bad at running organizations? Like, it's probably harder than what I'm thinking about it, but still, it's like, how do you suck so bad and you continue to have a job? I don't get the world sometimes.
Yeah, it's like honestly getting like a little ridiculous with how bad these trades are. How can you be a GM and like fail so much? I don't understand.
Like, you want to talk about Detroit fans being down bad. Houston fans, they at least got the Astros, but then they got the whole cheating scandal and thing. There's the black sheep, but still, their football team garbage. Basketball team is going to be garbage for a while. They don't have a hockey team, I don't think. I think Dallas just has one. Sorry, getting off topic now, but anyway,
yeah.
Houston Rockets toast of the week.
Yeah. So, we'll go into our predictions here. My prediction is going to be, I think Zags are going to steamroll UCLA. I'm sorry, I think the Cinderella story ends, and I do think the Zags go on and win the national title. I think they're going to be the team that does it, that goes undefeated from the beginning of the season till the end of the season. I think they're going to do it. This is
now, was it like the first time since 78 or something like that?
First time since the 70s. I just think that like the more I watch this team, the more that like I just sit there and realize that like, they really are just that good. Like they don't have a bad night, or excuse me, because even when they do have a bad night, I've seen them have bad nights and like be behind by 10 at halftime and end up winning the game by 20. Like they have a bad night, but they're good enough to turn it around quickly. So I think Zags are going to take this national championship. And yeah, that's my prediction for the end of March Madness. I just hope it's a good game.
Yeah, the Zags are so good, dude. It's crazy. They've easily got like 4 guys, maybe more, that if they could spread them out across the country and they would be the number one guy on any other team, on any other program that they walk into. And they're going to have so many dudes that get drafted in this upcoming draft. Like Suggs is already being talked about as possibly like jumping Cade Cunningham and being the number 1 overall pick, depending on who gets the pick and what the needs are. There's so many guys on that team that are so good, and I think it's going to be Gonzaga and Baylor that are going to clash, and that's going to be like a must-watch game, not just from the historical ramifications of having the possibility of an undefeated team win the tournament, but just from the fact that it's going to be a great basketball game. And these two teams were supposed to play earlier early in the season. And that was when Baylor had to shut their program down because of COVID protocols. So we were robbed of that. Now we finally get it. Or I say finally, we still have the Final Four to get through. We have to see what Houston does. But I still think Baylor comes out on top on that one. All right, so my prediction, it's a bit of a longer prediction. I've made predictions like this in the past. Hit on some, missed on some, but it is what it is. Like I said earlier, sometimes you have dubs, sometimes you have L's. Take more L's than dubs. Just the way it is. And I've talked about them before. It's the Boston Celtics. I do not think they finished this season above 500.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Whew. That's gonna get some people in Boston spicy, or I don't know. They might hate this version of the Celtics so much that they'll just fully agree with you.
So listen, right now, as it stands, they are the 8th seed in the East, and they are 23-24 going into tonight. The Heat have gotten a lot better. The Hawks are playing at a good level. And you just looking at their schedule, it does not favor them at all.
Like obviously, just a bad night. Like Evan Fournier, I think he's actually like a good role player. He'll score more than that. It was just a bad night, but it was just funny the fact that he just
listen, dude, 100%. It's the number. Who wears the number 94? And as a guard in the NBA, like that just throws me off.
Horrible
number. Throws me off.
You could have found a better number than that, bro. Come on, dude.
Like I know the Celtics have a lot of retired numbers, but there could have been somebody.
I know they got something there for the man. I mean, come on, you can't put him in like a spring training baseball fucking number. Get out of here, bro. That's oh man.
And listen, they're never going to do anything as long as Kimba's wearing Knicks or Yankee hats to press conferences. That's so yeah. There may be Celtics fans that want that to happen. I thought about taking it a step further and saying they wouldn't make the playoffs. I'm not ready to hit that button yet. We'll see in a couple weeks.
Being the fact that there's 10 spots. They would have to really be bad.
Really collapse. Yeah. If this was a normal year, maybe. Yeah. But they're not helping their chances because the further they fall back, because right now they would have to win, I think, twice to get the 8th seed. Because you have to only win one game, I think, to get the 7th seed if you're the 7th seed going in. But, if they fall out of the 8th seed, if they're the 9th seed, then they're going to have to win. And I don't know, dude. I don't trust them right now.
Yeah, no. What have they shown us to really, make us believe that they're gonna make the playoffs or do anything in the playoffs? I mean, they'll probably make the playoffs, but what are they showing us? Really, nothing. Just a bunch of inconsistency.
Nothing.
Just inconsistency across the board, and that ain't gonna win you nothing. So, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they finish under 500. I'll tell you that. Would not be shocked at all. But anyway, guys, that does it for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and also you check out all of our other videos on Vendetta Sports Network on our YouTube page. We got a bunch of podcasts there. Go check those out. Also, like Jackson said earlier, don't forget you go to Symbol, use our code, use our link, get a free get a bonus $10 deposit when you make your first deposit, and go and pick some teams. Buy low, sell high. Football for the draft is coming up. Could get some cheap teams there. Baseball is just getting started, so you could get some cheap teams that you think are going to be dark horses this year. So, go make some money and use our code. Get that $10 on us. Not a problem. But anyway, all right, guys, take it easy.